It's time for a little R&R.
Foul into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Connor!
Midweek, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3, September the 24th, 2025. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo here. Joined alongside me is Mike Rizzo. We got Christian Cat. We are at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, where we got you for the next 2 hours. A packed program with a couple guests on the docket, including Chris Swager, the Kaiser University Athletic Director, who will join us in just about 20 minutes. We got the host of Get Up on ESPN, former radio host on ESPN Radio. It is Mike Greenberg, who is promoting his book. We will talk about that into the second hour, some team Mount Rushmores, including the Dolphins Mount Rushmore. So put some thought into that in the meantime. And also, the 2026 Hall of Fame inductee nominees were out. It was a big day yesterday in baseball. Mike's Guardians stole one against the Detroit Tigers. They are now controlling their own destiny in the playoff race. The Mets survived, and the Reds lost, so then they are in a good spot in terms of keeping their playoff hopes alive. The Blue Jays had lost to the Red Sox, so the Yankees are now a game closer to that number one overall seed in the American League. You got a lot to look forward to over the next week. You get the Ryder Cup, which are the opening ceremony just about right now. And the actual festivities will begin this weekend over at Bethpage Black up in Long Island. So this is as good of a sports weekend as you could possibly imagine, with some good college football, good NFL, Ryder Cup, and good baseball. It's almost too much to watch. I'm in the market for now a new TV, and I think I figured out the route I'm going to do it, Mike. I think I'm getting a new TV that is going to be a permanent ad that I will only use occasionally.
I actually, you know what? I was going to get on your case about that today, the fact that you wouldn't take my quote-unquote charity of borrowing my television and my Xbox One.
Right.
But
I need another screen for this weekend.
If this is a permanent thing, I'm all for it. You're growing. You're growing. You're growing as a person. You're getting your second screen.
I have no choice. What
do you mean you have no choice? You're getting your. It's part of what we do to make sure we are informed. And trust me, you reminded me when Christian and I decided not to watch the tennis U.S. Open. Or what was it?
The French Open.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, even worse.
Well, yeah, right.
But yeah, it's our job to be informed. And you need to be informed on everything. I like the second TV. So let me get this straight. Now you can watch playoff baseball on that and the big college football and NFL
this
games
weekend,
on Sunday and Saturday.
One TV is going to have Ryder Cup the whole time. Football will be primary TV, and then the computer will be baseball. And luckily, I'll be able to bounce around between TV A with the football, Ryder Cup stays, and then we're all good on the baseball because it's easy to bounce around and get multiple games on the screen.
But now, you instead of going multi-box, brother, big screen. 40-inch, big screen. You're gonna be able to
talk about for NFL Sundays.
Yeah, for anything, brother, for anything.
Yeah, I only quad box on NFL Sundays.
Well, perfect. Now you can watch the Jags on the main screen and quad box on the 40.
I'm gonna quad box in the main screen, and I do Jags on the 40? On the close screen usually because I like to be right in front of the screen.
Perfect. Dude,
We'll figure it out.
You're growing as a person.
I'm not going more than two.
Yeah,
this is it.
This is the start. This is the start of something
This is not
special.
a gateway. This is not a gateway.
Wait till when if you ever decide to come over and visit when I invite you, when you walk into the Rizzo family apartment, if Zazzle's going to call it the family mansion, the Rizzo family apartment on an NFL Sunday or a college football Saturday when I'm not working in Miami, when we got all 5 screens, brother, you're gonna be in sports heaven. It's not going to be, oh, Mike, there's too many places to sit and too many screens. You're going to sit there like a 4th grader and go, oh.
Nope. 2 screens. And it's
You're
just
going to be starstruck by
It's just because the next month, you're going to need multiple screens occupied at one time.
Especially
next month.
With how good the baseball was.
Well, you're going to have
last night.
baseball with the postseason starting. You're going to have a big weekend, probably Tigers and Red Sox. If the Astros keep losing, who knows? Yeah. But if that might be for their playoff live, so that's number one. So you're going to have some important series to watch. And then on top of that, the Ryder Cup, you can't move it because that starts at 7 a.m. and that's going to stay all day.
No.
So now good news is there's nothing on in the first 5 hours of the day, so you could just do Ryder Cup. But once that starts, especially on Sunday, it's going to be Jags 4 o'clock, the 4 o'clock slate of football quad box. You're going to have the Ryder Cup, and you're going to have the baseball.
I'm honestly 888-760-3776. What are the setups like this weekend? I want to hear the setups. Are you multi-screening? Kyle, you ordering food? You getting wings? You getting a
I'm not the
pizza?
type. I'm not the type.
What?
I don't know.
What do you mean
I've
you're
been
not
spending
the
a lot
type?
of money recently, so I'm trying to we're saving money.
Trust you. It's expensive.
Yeah,
Here, Kyle.
I know.
It's
Well, no,
expensive
it's
down
just
here.
generally post Iron Man stuff too. Like
It's-
that's a lot of money that I did not have.
Now you just told me it's something that stuck out to me. You said you got nothing on in the early hours. That's just not true. You're an Arsenal fan now.
Oh, it's true. I got the Arsenal game on.
Not even that. I need you, Kyle. I'm gonna give you some homework on the Prem. You know, you gave Christian.
I'm just watching Arsenal.
I'm
just watching Arsenal.
You gave Christian and I homework on
I'm
some
not
tennis,
watching United.
okay?
I'm not watching United.
You don't have to watch United. I just want you.
I'll watch Arsenal.
Who's top of the table right now? Do you know?
City,
Liverpool.
tomato.
It's okay. But anyway, yeah, you need to know some things like that if you're gonna be an Arsenal fan. So Arsenal just tied City
Right.
at the Emirates.
I did see that.
So you needed all three, but because Liverpool's unstoppable right now. But regardless, Kyle, you always got something to watch.
I'll watch the Arsenal game in the morning and then alongside the Ryder Cup.
I am.
That will be small screen.
I am so happy that you are starting to grow as a young adult.
This is not growth.
Yes, it is.
It's
growth.
back against the wall. I got no choice. Yes. This is an adapt. This
Now,
is
the
not
next thing
necessarily.
we
This
need-
is not like taking a step forward.
Next
This
thing
is
we
taking
need.
a step back because I have to.
Next thing we need in the Russo family apartment is another couch, a
No, we do
kitchen
not.
table.
No, we do not.
You need a couch.
Waste of time. That
need
will
a
never
love
happen.
seat.
That will never
You
happen.
need a love seat. Maybe
I
a
have
kitchen table.
I have like the recliner I've always had. I have that. That's that's basically a love seat.
We need an updated picture of the Russo apartment.
I could send you that once I get this new TV in play.
I need to see what I'm working with.
I'll send you.
Is that fair?
I'll send you a
I
picture.
know
once
you
get
don't
the
have
new
a
TV.
coffee table. I know you don't have a coffee table.
A coffee table was donated to me.
Oh yeah, by Jess Welke,
Yes.
our teammate here at ESPN.
Right. So I was fortunate enough and grateful that she was able to give
Do
me
you have a
one.
hassock?
A what?
A hassock.
A what?
It's basic. So it's something you could put your feet up when you're on the couch. It's like a
Coffee table.
No.
No.
That's I guess
Ottoman. Like an ottoman.
there you go. Midwest. My mother called it a hassock. Growing up.
All right. I've never
right.
heard that before.
Anyway, must be a Midwest thing. Do you have a hassock to where people could put their feet up when they're on the
I
couch?
will never buy one of those
Why?
because that is a waste of money.
No, it's not. Don't you want to be comfortable?
Put your feet up.
Yeah.
How about this? My couch reclines.
Okay, I guess.
Why would I buy an ottoman when I
But
got
like,
that?
how do you put your feet up? Do you have the thing that comes out?
Do you know what a recliner?
I do. Do you have? But does it have legs where it comes out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair
Right.
play.
So you're good.
Fair play. But you only have that singular couch. It's not an L
I have
shape.
a couch that can seat three, and then I have the recliner I have, and then I have a lawn chair just in case for a rainy day.
Okay.
The
Well,
lawn chair is not even set
dude,
up.
wait, I mean, let's see. It's Wednesday. I'm trying to get you set up for the weekend here.
I'm good. I don't
No, you're
need more
not.
places to sit.
Yeah, we do.
I don't need a kitchen table. I have a TV table that I could use to eat food.
But you had like your whole fraternity here the last time, and they had nowhere to sit.
Yeah, that did happen.
You had the whole fraternity
There's
here
not all right.
6
All right,
months ago,
all right,
and
all
the-
right. Word this properly. I had 4 or 5 people
No.
visit.
you got to get straight. Colin was the president of that damn fraternity
I was
in
not.
Wisconsin too.
I was not.
You're
But
head of the social
I
chair.
had 5 guys visit me, and I have to.
There's someone sleeping on the lawn for
No, I
God's
have
sakes.
to. I have 2 blow up mattresses, and I borrowed another blow.
I heard a kid was sleeping on the balcony.
No, I don't have a balcony.
It's sleeping on the patio.
That he could have done that if he needed to.
Wow.
But no, we had 2. I have enough places to sleep. That's okay.
Okay.
We're okay there for 4 or 5 people.
So
More than that, we were running into issues.
yeah, I just I think it's growth by you that you're getting the
not growth.
second screen. You got cornered, Kyle. You had no choice. You had to get the second screen. Now we work on building it out. Maybe we work on a TV in the room, an entertainment stand, some
total waste
a
of time.
dresser. Do you have?
I have an entertainment system. I do not have a dresser.
And the clothes are just in the closet.
Yeah, there's the shelves. There's like the built-in shelves to the wall, so I'm okay. I don't need anything more than that.
Wow.
And they have the thing
No
feature
dresser?
too.
That's crazy. I got a nightstand.
You know how much
and a
dressers?
lamp?
I mean, you know how difficult dressers are to move. Either you buy one, you got to build it, and those are expensive, or you got to buy one off somebody.
I did.
And it's this godforsaken dresser from 1778, and you got to transport it.
Do you want to know what I did? I got all my stuff, and I actually went to a website and had someone come over and put it together for like $150.
Right. I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Why not?
Because I don't need a dresser. If I needed, if I needed somebody to build a bed, yeah, I might call somebody.
I told you the story in Peoria, right? How I had a girl over and she walked out because I had nothing in the apartment. Are you afraid of something like that happening?
For a dresser? No, I don't think a dresser is going to be the. Mike, I have a bed frame. You had a mattress on the floor.
Correct.
And like a candle, and that was. This is not that.
I need to know.
I have a carpet. I have a carpet, an area rug.
All right, good. So you told me that was a waste of time. About
a total
3
waste of
months
time.
ago.
It was a waste of a buy.
No,
but I do have one.
You needed it.
It was a waste of.
What happens?
It was a waste of a buy.
When things slop on the floor, you could just vacuum it up.
Yeah, but it's a waste of time.
Got a vacuum?
Yeah, I have a dust buster like a grandmother has.
Perfect.
The handheld ones.
Yeah,
great.
No, wait, you don't have.
No, I don't have like the big guy that's like waist high. I have the handheld one.
No, well
the handheld ones.
I do, of course I do. That's a waste. They talk about a waste of time.
Mike, it was like $18 at Target.
Your dad came down here and goes, "The floors are disgusting."
No,
now I know why, because you don't have a vacuum.
I have a Swiffer
that you don't use.
I use a Swiffer. Probably I probably do the floors once. I'm gonna be honest here. Probably once a month.
Dude, go to like a thrift store. Those old school like Orvec vacuums.
Yeah, those things don't die. Those things don't die. Maybe I'll do
my
that.
Papa Chuck's from that. I think he had it when he was in the Navy.
Yeah, maybe I'll do something
vacuum.
like that. I can see. I'm not getting a new vacuum. New vacuums are a waste of time.
Why?
Because no, I don't need a.
So you're gonna get on your hands and knees with a dust buster? You know how insane that sounds?
I've been doing it for a year.
Dude, get a vacuum, plug it into the wall, and go.
Hold on, you plug. It has a little charging station, the dust buster, and you leave it on there, and it's charged. It's ready to rock and roll, and then you're good.
Dude, every Sunday I vacuum the apartment.
Yeah, you don't think I vacuum? Yeah, you don't think I? You know the things I have to vacuum are the area rug, and then everything else is Swiffer territory, and then of course the kitchen. The kitchen's not big. The kitchen's like 8 square feet. So from that, I'm okay.
I don't know, Kyle.
And all surface cleaning is done via, sponge and rags and stuff like that. It's not done on the floor.
I just feel like the Orvec, the old school, and that's a setting. My grandfather was a heck of a
what?
A handyman.
Oh, okay.
And he created
a vacuum guy.
He created like a setting on the vacuum to where you got it for the floor and you got it for the carpet. Dude, you need a vacuum. I'm sorry.
I don't need a vacuum.
I'm breaking down vacuums because you need a vacuum.
I have a vacuum.
No, you don't. You have a dust devil.
I have the dust buster. Those work. It's completely fine.
I'd pay to see you get on your hands and knees and like try to
happens.
Vacuum up your
I probably do that one. I probably go area
chicken and rice
all the way down. I probably do that twice a week.
If your mother comes and visits you, do you feel comfortable with going to your apartment?
She knows that I have the dust buster, and she has no problem with
it. I find that hard to believe, dude.
She has no problem with it.
I find that hard to believe.
She has no problem with it.
Okay.
She goes, you have the dust buster, you're good to go.
Fair.
And then I got a trash can. I got the entertainment system, which was a waste of money, by the way.
No, it wasn't. You had to put your TV on something.
It was like $100.
You had to put the TV on something.
Right.
Where's this? Is the second monitor on the floor now, or do you got?
I haven't bought it yet.
But
I have the coffee table. I'm going to put the coffee table to the side. So no more coffee table in the center of the room.
All right, so you need a coffee. So you need a coffee table now because you got to be able to.
I have a coffee table,
but it's going to be holding the TV.
Yeah.
But that TV is going to be there permanently.
It's going to be the TV table. It's going to be the new coffee table, which is like a singular. That's for one. That's not for two. One person will deal with that.
I don't know, Kyle.
You following what I'm saying?
It sounds like the 40 inches entertainment stand is your coffee table that our teammate Jess gave you.
That will be the case.
So now when you go to eat something, you're back on your lap.
Lap, or I have the TV table, which is like this. It's like a foot by a foot. It's like a foot by a foot. Yeah, it's up.
What happens when you have guests over and multiple people need to eat?
We're gonna figure that out when that happens. I'm not hosting many steak dinner parties, so I mean we should
might have a date. What happens if you got a date? Hot date. You got an island kitchen table?
No.
No? I got one of those.
I don't have an island.
It came with the apartment.
You're right.
I didn't
you don't buy an island.
I didn't need to get the kitchen table.
That's a renovation. Yeah. Right?
So, yeah.
It's a block. It's part of the kitchen. It's got like the big tiles on it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I have like my oven area, my microwave where the coffee goes, and then I have my table with bar stool chairs. So you have barstool chairs for your table?
No, I don't have an island.
Okay. Well, you need a kitchen table then.
I don't need a kitchen table. What do I need a kitchen? That I think is a waste of time.
If you have a date. You bring her over, cook her some signature Colin
What do
Russo
you want?
chicken and rice.
You hungry for ground turkey?
Come on, man. Shows character.
It does.
Shows discipline.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But you need somewhere to sit.
I'm a creature of habit. I eat the same thing every day.
It's the issue. You need somewhere to sit.
I could sit on the couch.
With the significant other?
Oh, well, when we come to that point, we're going to figure it out.
Fair enough. I'm just
the thing is, like,
I'm trying to get all bases covered here.
I can't be overprepared. That's a waste of time. I don't need to be overprepared. That's overprepared. You're prepared for, like, a battalion, or the army comes through and they need somewhere to stay, and Mike can host them. That's what you're prepared for.
You know how much family I got and how often they're down here. I got to make sure I got the spot, right? I'm not gonna have my brother pay. Granted, he's got the money.
Yeah, but you're not had everybody coming in at one time. You got 2 or 3 people max at a time.
Yeah, but still,
you can host 2
or 3 people.
You could host a football team. No, they don't need to stay down in Miami. They stay at yours.
I got 2 air mattresses. I got a couch that could sleep 2.
You got 7 couches. You got 5 screens.
I have 2.
You got 3 islands.
Realistically,
you have 4 ovens.
Realistically, I have 2 love seats, a couch that could sit about 4 that could sleep 2. I have my gaming setup. Dude, I got this. As my Uncle Jamie says, I got the setup.
And you have a kitchen table, too, with chairs.
Got the setup.
You have a kitchen table with chairs, and you have an island with bar stools.
No, the island with bar stools is a kitchen table, but then I have my coffee table and my hassock. The hassock to where people can put their feet up on the couch.
The ottoman.
The ottoman.
Wow.
Sorry, Wendy.
That is entire. How many bar stools do you have?
2.
That's 1, 2, 3. Gaming setup. Do you have another desk in your room?
No, I have 2 nightstands. I was prepared.
Why do you need 2 nights?
Never know. What do you mean, dude?
Never mind.
Come on, mate. Come on, mate.
Chris Swager, the Kaiser University Athletic Director, will be, I believe, in the house joining us on Russo and Rizzo coming up on the flip side. But you can listen to us. You can listen to Theoretically Speaking. Listen to all of our coverage on the ESPN South Florida app. It's available for free on the App Store. Go download today, and you can listen to Russo and Rizzo. You can listen to Theoretically Speaking. You can listen to our high school coverage from throughout Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast on Friday nights. You can listen to anything away from the radio, away from the streams, away from everything on social media, because it's all going to be in your pocket on the app. That includes Inter Miami, English, and Spanish. That includes all the great games that we have covered right here, including Kaiser University football. That includes everything, all South Florida. Get all the beats on the South Florida app. Go download today, ESPN South Florida. Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swager in the house. We'll do a little Ask the AD on the other side. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. 2 of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Evan Cohen here, reminding you that ESPN 106.3 is the official home for Inter Miami soccer. Tonight, Inter Miami heads to New York, and the Pink Smoke fires up at 6. Catch every kick, clash, and goal right here on ESPN 106.3.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Fall is here, and the flavors of the season are waiting for you at DQ Grill & Chill. Treat yourself to the new Maple Cookie Milkshake. DQ's world-famous soft serve blended with maple cookie crumble and real milk. It's the sweet taste of fall in a cup, but only for a limited time. And don't forget the blizzards of the month, pumpkin pie and caramel toffee cookie. Stop by DQ Grill & Chill today with 2 convenient locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake. Fall tastes better at DQ.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
What if every use of your debit card turns spare change into something meaningful, like growing your savings and supporting local community causes? With Flagler Credit Union's Impact Checking with Everyday Change, your spare change can have big impact. Each transaction can be rounded up to grow your savings and support nonprofits that provide meals, shelter, and essential services locally. Make an impact in your life and in your community. Open your Impact Checking account today. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
We're sitting in it, the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. You've been there, car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, fell on the stairs, got rear-ended on the highway like Mike did. Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys are the type that fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back. They could get yours too, and they don't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Why settle for just any attorney? Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. Take that one phone call. Take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for the free consultation now. Call 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo. We got Christian Cat. We're at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We got him in the house. He's got his kids' headphones, which are, it's formatted like the Blues Clues or, Monsters, Inc. Let's do a little Ask the AD with Chris Swager.
It's time to ask the AD. Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swager joins Russo and Rizzo to talk all things college sports, the latest on Kaiser athletics and more. Ask the AD is presented by Kaiser Seahawks Athletics. Learn more at kuseahawks.com.
Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swager in the house with us at the City Play Studios. Chris, nice headphones. How you doing?
Thank you. You would think for the worldwide leader in sports, you guys would have a better headphone collection than...
We do not. That is true.
Yeah.
Our headphone collection here stinks.
My dad has a rule. If you work in the business and are on the air, you got to have your own headphones. Got to have your own headphones. Chris, you're part of the show. You got to have your own headphones.
He has his own headphones.
Yeah, I don't know that these will be mine forever, but they were left over. My daughter's upgraded to Beats. She's in middle school, so this is what I found in the house.
Those are the headphones that you wear when you're determining what a triangle is
I was
on
just
an
about to
iPad.
Say, Chris, those are the headphones I see on airplanes when you got iPad kids doing their thing.
Hey, they work.
Okay, fair play.
I'm more of an AirPod person, but obviously
you can't do
the
that
Bluetooth
here.
doesn't work. Yeah,
we're old school.
Yep.
Chris, what's been going on with Kaiser University, the fall sports season?
Everything's good. So just got back from we played University of the Cumberland, so that's about an hour north of Knoxville, Tennessee. So just got back this past weekend. Had a big 30-point win over them.
And you traveled for that?
Yeah. And then women's soccer held #1 in the polls. Men's soccer moved up to #9. So and football came in at #2. So far 3 teams in the top 10. Getting ready. Football's got a bye week.
Yeah, they got a home game next weekend, correct?
Yep, home game next weekend against Thomas. Hopefully we get in more than a quarter this week. That'd be nice. And then women's soccer is actually heading up to Southeastern in the middle of the state today. Men's soccer wrapped up with a 4-0 win about a couple hours ago. So everything's good.
Did you like Knoxville more than you like Indianapolis?
Knoxville was a bigger city than I thought. I'll be honest. Like I was not expecting the size of the city.
Is that a positive connotation?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, not to go all the way back to that, but I love visiting college towns, like walking campuses and just seeing how they're different. And I was not thinking Knoxville was going to be as big as it was from the city perspective. I mean, normally it's, you figure you've got
an SEC school itself, in the South. Yeah, you don't expect much.
Well, no, not so much that. But a lot of college towns are just a college. It seemed that there was a lot more there, so it was interesting.
This is a guy who went to Indianapolis.
Hated every
and
second of it.
And said he saw barn animals walking in the city. So
I didn't see people, is what I said. I did not see people walking in the city.
Dropped off in the middle of a crop circle with barn animals.
Seeing the dust collection, go across the road. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Well, Chris, a lot has gone on in college sports. You're a Florida State fan, so Florida State and Miami have a bit of a clash, top 10 clash coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. Miami beat Florida pretty handedly over the weekend. We haven't seen a ton from Florida State in terms of strength of schedule competition since Alabama. Are you afraid of Miami?
No, I mean the game was 17-7 in the fourth quarter, and then the wheels fell off. So no, it'll be a good game. It's a good test. So
a good test, like it's a tune-up game.
No, like a good test to see where they're at. I mean, with Alabama, you'll start to see who they are coming up because they're starting to get into their conference schedule. But
Georgia
really,
this weekend, yeah.
At this point of the season is where I think teams. You can start. I mean, honestly, this is where I think ranking should start. Is coming up.
Fair enough, Chris. No worries. First true road game against Virginia on Friday. I got a lot of Florida State alum here in the office that are a little scared of that game.
No, hey, if
Miami's got a bye and you guys got a game.
Yeah,
if you want to be good, you have to beat teams like Virginia Tech. I mean, you can't be scared of those teams. They're a good team. They're solid.
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. I mean, I got my my stuff ready for Friday night. I love Friday games. Opens up Saturday a lot more. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Well, I personal.
Your
opinion,
favorite touchdown Tommy's going to be going off. So.
Well, it's not TikTok Tommy anymore.
It's not TikTok Tommy. He's going to make it. See,
touchdown Tommy now.
That first game
Tommy.
that he loses, and they're not going to go undefeated. I'm assuming. That first game that they lose, if he stinks in a game, Mike and I will be your first text.
Okay, that's fine.
Because we know you've
been right. I'll give you credit right now. You've been right. Now, the fact that you're not as worried for that Miami game is surprising because I think Miami, first 4 weeks, has been the best team in the country with the 2 wins that they've had, USF and even Notre Dame in week 1. And listen, Beck, I think that game against Florida, Chris, Beck played awful, and they were still able to win convincingly. They ran the ball for about 200 yards, and the defense played well. So I think Miami proved that they could win even when their quarterback plays bad.
I mean, Beck's doing a lot better than I thought he would do. Obviously, there's a lot in the offseason with him being injured and not throwing in the spring.
Right.
But again, if your goal is to compete for championships, you have to play tough teams and teams to get you ready for the playoffs. So not that, the 70-6 win isn't great, but that gets kind of old and you need to kind of sharpen your teeth a little bit and play good teams. And at the end of the day, you need to compete because, most likely the way it's looking right now, it's probably going to be Miami and Florida State playing again later this year. So I think it's a good game to judge yourself, but win or lose, it's not the end of your season.
How surprised are you about Clemson? The favorite going in for the ACC.
I'm surprised with the amount of returners they had. So, everyone's talking about Dabo not wanting to go to the portal and all this stuff. I don't necessarily disagree with them reinvesting their NIL money in the team they have. But the fact that I think they had 14 or 15 starters coming back is a little surprising as far as what's not clicking. Because you would think, even against Troy, they were
down 16-3 in the first
half. They were bored,
yeah.
right? So that's the odd part. I will say this. I think what doesn't get enough credit, with coaching changes and stuff is how the staff is built below the coach. So as you start to lose assistant coaches, position coaches, I think there's something big to that. I mean, like look at Florida State this year by adding, the assistant coaches or offensive and defensive coordinator. You see the team operate in a different way, the function. So, it's not necessarily just the head coach and Clemson over the last 5 to 10 years Virginia's head coach came from Clemson.
Yeah. And then even to add to that, Oklahoma and Venables. Venables was the best defensive coordinator in the country for about 5 years. Kirby before he went to Georgia, but I totally get it.
Yeah, Bill's offensive coordinator was OC at Clemson. They've lost people, and I'm not saying that's the only reason, but you start. That's again, I love Bobby Bowden, but that's why I think Saban is the greatest college football coach ever because the amount of people that he lost year after year after year,
who are not only successful coaches, but he also replaced them with then future successful coaches.
Right, but the fact that you're having that turnover and being able to keep it together that's super impressive.
Yeah, and Clemson, who brought in a new defensive coordinator this year, they're sort of like the last sort of cult of college football. It used to be about program and stability, stay. Nobody leaves Clemson. That's kind of their thing.
And next year they might.
Next year we'll see about next year. But I mean, the exodus hasn't necessarily happened to them like it happens to everybody else. So they have been a big surprise. I was dead wrong. Hand up. I thought that team, like you, was going to be really good because they won 9 games last year. I mean, they won the ACC title, and then they returned everybody. And then now they're terrible, and we're going to be flirting with bowl season with them. So that's a big problem there. And I'm curious on moving on from coaches. You mentioned the actual coaching staff, but what about the guy at the top? Mike Gundy, who is the second longest tenured college football coach at Oklahoma State, was fired in the midst of his 21st season with the team. 1-2 start. They got rid of him mid-season. Somebody who, brought that program into relevancy, was, a 20 straight, 18 straight bowl game appearances. That team was, had a couple really great years. And they sort of got rid of him quickly and sort of like just cut it off at the head. And I was curious, from somebody with an athletic director's eye, is that something that you would have done in that situation, mid-season firing? Do you sort of wait unless there's a big scandal on hand?
Yeah, I mean, you don't. Yeah, typically you don't want to fire anyone mid-season because
you avoid that at all costs.
You're essentially giving up on the season unless you have someone in the wings who is the replacement who you want to kind of
give a rip
to, see is that the person that you're going to go with. I mean, obviously, if there's something egregious, if the team quits, I mean, there's only, I think, a few reasons why you would do it. One of which would be, hey, we're not going to get any better. We're moving on. Let's see if the next guy up, we're going to hire him. Again, something egregious, something like, someone's violating policies or just doing something that you can't get around.
We haven't heard that. That's my thing.
But okay, so Gundy has had issues over the past 20 years.
Sure.
Right? Now winning solves that. So I think, his personality, some people love it. I've heard of some stuff where he'd be great for radio. Just he has that kind of.
He's a flair personality.
Yeah. So, when everything's going great, it's going great. But that also has people waiting in the wings when it isn't to say, hey, we need to move on.
Yeah.
Obviously, something happened there. They had a bad season last year. You in any situation, the toughest part about all this is you feel bad for the kids because when you, especially 4 games into the season, again, could it turn around? Maybe, but more often than not, it doesn't.
The season a wash.
You're kind of giving up on the whole year.
And you give them opportunities to leave, and then all of a sudden you're looking around.
Well, it's not even that. It's just they're losing a year of time, and your body doesn't get younger. You're not, it doesn't work that way. So you don't get that time back. So that always sucks. I think the one thing that, we really don't have to deal with it at our level, but especially at that level, what always has amazed me is the buyouts. So, I think his buyout was $15 million, which isn't crazy for that level, but anytime you're doing a buyout thing, you better have a really good reason because it never pays to pay someone to not coach your team. So that's always kind of blown my mind. And you're down a coach, regardless of what you want to say about a person, there's still a coach on the staff that now you're down. So game prep, kind of getting ready, everything you have to do is out the window. Now, if they had their guy in the wings, they've had conversations and they feel like if we don't move now, someone's going to take him. If there's a potential coaching candidate that may go to another school,
right?
That could work, but I think you got to be sure on that with whatever agent or coach you're dealing with because it could backfire.
For 21 years too, as the head coach, they're going to have their offensive coordinator serve as the interim in the time period. But I've always found that interesting when schools decide to, because you're right. With the buyout, there's a financial contribution, there's a culture contribution, there's a school-wide confidence contribution that goes into making this type of move, especially this early in the year, because you're calling quits. All right, this is it. Now we're in experimental time, especially for somebody who, polarizing, but is a beloved figure in that community. He is the figurehead of Oklahoma State.
Let's be honest. When you think Oklahoma State, you think of Barry Sanders and Mike Gundy.
Right.
So, and making that move, and the reason I bring this up is because a lot of schools, I think, sometimes get the wrong idea of when they move on from coaches. Sometimes, especially at the college football level, when they're rehiring and they have money and they're a sort of a brand recognition program trying to find that next guy. Miami's a good example of this. Trying to find the guy to bring them back to what they were or to make them into something that they're not. I think sometimes schools get the wrong idea of where they stand in the totem pole, trying to replicate Alabama when Oklahoma State's never going to be Alabama.
Right.
Wisconsin did this when they hired Luke Fickell from Cincinnati, thinking we're going to become national championship contenders every single year. And now it's blowing up in their face because he tried to make them something that they're not as a program above the coach. And I was curious on your thought on that because it sounds like athletic directors don't necessarily think like that. They think in terms of rings and playoff appearances, and we're going to try our best to keep there might be some schools, but we're going to try our best to compete at the highest level as best we can.
No, I mean, first of all, everyone, any AD out there will tell you they've made a hire sometimes that they thought was a home run. It didn't work out for whatever reason. So, I mean, that happens. And I mean, there's committees and search firms that all get it wrong. So, I mean, there's human error. I do think that there are great coaches in bad fits at times. Like the SEC is a good example. I think there's certain coaches that can work in the SEC and other coaches that are great coaches that just it's
Jury's out on the Alabama
going to be
coach.
difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
And
just because your scrutiny is different, the media, even what you do on a day-to-day basis isn't the same as, you know, at a different program. So I think that's a challenge. And the school, the president, the boosters, everyone has to be behind it. I mean, it's hard to state how much having everyone behind you at all times helps with a successful program.
An example of a coach not working in a specific conference is Bielema, right? I mean, Bielema went from Wisconsin to Arkansas. It never worked at Arkansas. And now, listen, I know they got the doors blown off them by 53 points last week in Indiana, but Bielema has turned Illinois into a respectable program. They're still a top 25 team even after losing. So I think there is something to be said there. And I think a team that kind of learned how hard it is if you don't get the right person is Florida. I still think they're struggling with it. You know, Coach Meyer, you know, let's call it for what it is. And I love Uncle Herb, but like, you know, he left Florida to go to Ohio State in so many words. He said he sat down for health reasons and then goes to Ohio State. But they haven't been able to figure that out after Urban. Right. Now, I liked Mullen. I thought Mullen got a bad go at it at Florida. I think they were pretty decent under him, but they have not been able to figure out that coach since the Meyer situation happened. So if Chris, if you're a team like Florida, or rather a program like Florida, and you're the athletic director there, and I know that's kind of maybe a weird comparison, but like, how do you get that back on track? Your best guess is being an AD yourself. How do you get a situation like Florida back on track, who has all the resources, has a huge football community, but just can't get that head coach right?
I mean, I think in a situation like Florida, you have to find someone with the experience in the SEC, right? Just because, you know, just from what you deal with, just what your expectation is. I mean, if you're, and that's why I think coordinators have been successful in the SEC versus bringing a head coach from
another
Power
conference,
Four or a different conference, just because what you can look for, what you can request. I mean, you can go to the administration and say, "Hey, at Georgia, we have this. We need this to win." Like, you have some backing there. If you're coming from a Power Five or Group of Five,
Washington,
it's a little bit more. I mean, let me ask you this question. So, just what coach from a lower level has gone to a high one and been relatively successful over time?
I mean, Kurt Cignetti is an example on Indiana, but like, you know, it happens.
But that's still Indiana. That's not, I mean, no offense to Indiana, and they're doing great, but that is a different market than Alabama.
So Freeman played for the Buckeyes. I don't know where he was coaching before, after.
Right.
He left. I think Freeman might be one of those answers, but
there's more that haven't.
Agreed. I agree. And I like that thing you're pointing out. Look at Georgia. Kirby came from a plethora of coaching trees, and recently the Saban one.
Saban,
right.
And it's not that I don't
even
think...
Ryan Day was under, he coached in the NFL and then coached under Urban for years.
Right. And I don't even think it's just the familiarity, but it's also the connections they make. So again, it's about all the people below you. So as they go through these programs, as they're hired, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for Norvell this year is the coaching changes have made the big difference.
Yeah.
And obviously they've got different talent and some people that, you know, in different areas that maybe didn't contribute last year are contributing this year. But I think getting those coaches under you and developing the staff is huge. And when you're from those different programs, you have the connections to turn around quickly.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think for Florida, that would be, you know, again, you got a buyout situation, so you got to handle that. Now, Florida probably has, you know, the money on reserve to take care of it.
But still, this is going to be like the fourth one now. I mean, you go back to Will Muschamp, right?
I think they're going to give him the year. Probably.
Yeah.
I had to assume what Chris was talking about, if you want to upend the whole thing, apparently everybody loves Napier and he's good in the locker rooms and the players like him. There's an obvious point that the players do like him. It sounds like the people in the administration and the athletic department do like him. The coaches like him. He just doesn't coach that well.
So I could see a scenario where if they lose a couple more games and you start to have key players sitting out, which I've heard quarterback is, you know, in a boot and
all of a sudden everybody's got a bad shoulder.
So then I think you start to look at it because now you're kind of recruiting for next year.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, now could you turn it around? You could, but I think in that situation, again, I think if you start to lose the team, if people are starting to leave, if you have those circumstances, then you kind of have to start looking at how do we keep this thing together to when we bring someone in, they have a base.
Right.
Because if the whole thing's gone, again, if you're bringing in a coach that brings their whole team with them, different story. But, if you have some key players that you need to keep on, that's what starts going through your head is what can we do to at least keep the core here. So whoever we do hire, it's a desirable job and they have something where they can bounce back next year. And you're not going to have 2 to 3 more years to rebuild the thing.
No.
To be honest, that's everything you just said. There is why Napier is able to stick around, right? The recruits stayed, the guys who he had there that thought about entering
all the
portal
pieces
stayed.
were there.
Lagway. I mean, I like that. I like that point because I think that's a big reason Florida bought back into Napier. Now, I got told by hashtag fans with sources that Lane Kiffin, they wanted Kiffin, and then when Kiffin told him to kick rocks, it's like, okay, well, let's just bring this back again. And that would have fallen under your thing of SEC experience and a guy who's coached in it before. But ultimately, he wanted to stay at Ole Miss, and that was that.
The expectation is different.
We had a great situation when Coach Socha left. We had Miles Russ, who was here when we started the program. He took over, and the culture stayed the same. So it was easier for me because we had that person in place. And you always want to have that backup, right? You always want to have someone who's familiar. I think for most of the programs, they want to look for someone who's either been part of that program itself, whether it's a player or as a coach, you bring them back, or someone who's at least familiar with the SEC and kind of the level of play. So, yeah, Kiffin, I could have definitely seen that. I mean, the question is, who else? I mean, that's what I was. Who's out there, right? Like, who else would make a good fit?
And that's
because
not
you're
a desirable job because they have so much pressure.
Well, you're going to pay a $50 million buyout to go get someone
for $10 million a year.
That if you're not sold on, you may have to buy out again.
Right.
So you better be sure because
no coach is going there without a 5 to 7 year contract.
Right. So I mean, you want to see it out as far as you can. Again, if you got the guy that if you have the person ready to come in, but even then, it's tough because there are going to be other. I mean, there's open vacancies now. Virginia Tech's open. Ohio, Oregon, Oklahoma State.
Yep.
And there's going to be more throughout the season. So that's a tough one. But again, anytime you're firing someone, again, some of these guys are great coaches just in the wrong spot. They'll bounce back and go somewhere else, and you're dealing with their family and the culture and the relationships they built. So it's a tough decision, but at the same time, especially at that level, it is a business, and that's the decision they have to make.
Chris Swagger, the Kaiser University athletic director, with us now on Russo and Rizzo. Mr. Swagger, fall season is upon us. What's coming up here on the schedule here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, we got some big soccer matches. We have one this Saturday with St. Thomas from Miami, so for men's soccer. So that will be coming up at home. Then next Saturday will be our second season opener against Thomas, since our first one kind of got washed out.
Yeah, right.
So we'll have that a week from this Saturday. And then we get into our conference season. So then I think we're on the road, and then we're back at it again for 2 straight weeks. And then we start getting into, homecoming, senior days, all the ring ceremonies that we have at football games, all that stuff's coming up soon. And then soccer, volleyball are getting the heart of their season. And then actually we have basketball, wrestling, swimming, all of our winter sports are getting ready to kick off here in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we'll be in the heart of it here in about, by middle November, it gets really, really dicey with schedules, but it's a fun time of year.
And he's a busy man. That's Chris Swagger, the Kaiser University athletic director. That was Ask the AD, KUSeahawks.com to get more information on that great athletic program. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE. Office, West Palm Beach.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
Don't fumble your finances. Whether you're running a business or running plays, Jay Zolo and Associates keeps your books tight in your stressed life. With nearly 30 years of experience, Jay Zolo is your go-to coach for QuickBooks, offering expert consulting, one-on-one training, and full-service bookkeeping. Jay Zolo and Associates, simplifying your books so you can win on and off the field. Visit jzolo.com today. That's JZOLLO.com.
This is ESPN 1063, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 1063, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
How'd you get your money so quick?
Hard Rock Bet's got lightning fast withdrawals.
Almost as fast as Dale Jr. valeting cars at this party.
Man, he's fast.
Hard Rock Bet's fast withdrawals have given me new motivation. Tips are appreciated.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Big thanks to Chris Swager, the Kaiser University Athletic Director, helping us out. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. We got Mike Greenberg joining us at 5 o'clock. We're going to do a little Mount Rushmore with the Dolphins. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. Mike Rizzo, you know, keeping your body protected, but also making sure you know what to adjust when you're trying to get healthier. Men's Only Medical is your place to go.
Absolutely. And I actually had a friend reach out to me, Kyle, who said he was watching our stream, our video stream the other day, and said, Riz, you're looking a little trimmer. You know, you're looking a little trimmer. I have Doc Al and Men's Only Medical to thank over on North Dixie Highway. We are focusing on my weight management and nutrition. We sat down, we did my blood work, we figured out exactly what I should be eating according to my blood type, what kind of workouts I should be doing. That is all happening with Doc Al over at Men's Only Medical. Now, it's a concierge healthcare service. So it's doctor on my time, right? This isn't like, oh, I got to wait 2 months to go see my primary. No, with the concierge healthcare service, you get stuff like that over at Men's Only Medical. You could also enhance your well-being and your nutrition, hair loss solutions. Like, obviously, folks, I don't need any of that, but God forbid I start losing my hair, I'm going to be able to get it figured out with my guy, Doc Al. Skin assessment, expert cardiovascular and healthcare for a strong heart, anti-aging, all that stuff over at Men's Only Medical with Doc Al. Doc Al, he's a local guy. You know, went to Cardinal Newman, went to college in Miami. Give him a visit on North Dixie Highway today. That's Men's Only Medical and mensonlymedical.com.
Christian Cat is our producer behind the glass today. Christian, hello. How are you? What's going on?
I have 5 great topics to deliver to you in today's 5 at 5.
Let's do it. 5% by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Earlier today on Unsportsmanlike, Evan Cohen, in light of the Russell Wilson benching news, Jackson Dart starting news, proclaimed that he's not so sure if Russell Wilson is in the Hall of Fame anymore. Take a listen.
I think Russ played his way into the Hall of Fame at one point. Can you play your way out of the Hall of Fame?
I want to dive into that. We have some other things to get to, but I just think the Russell Wilson part of this is interesting. How do you get in and then get taken out? Denver, Pittsburgh, and the Giants. We got to be fair, and I love Russ. Talk about Aaron Rodgers, and CeCe says all the time, we're going to remember the Jets and the Steelers as much or more than we're going to remember the Packers. He's not playing his way out of the Hall of Fame, but I do wonder if Russ may have played himself out of Hall of Fame consideration.
The question simple, is Russell Wilson a Hall of Famer if he retired today?
I think he gets in. I do. I think this generation of quarterbacks, the voters are going to tend to be a little bit more lenient because winning a title in the Brady era will mean something.
Yeah.
When Brady and the Patriots dominate for as long as they did, if you were able to steal one, which is why, guys like Rivers, stuff, who had more individual accolades and success, but they never got one in the era, that I think will help Wilson. So I think that's actually, and they're a play away from getting two. So getting one in the Brady era, I think, is going to have some weight, and he was the best player. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a bit. He was never the best. I think he'll get in. It'll be tight, though.
He was on the back end of the Golden Age era. I call the Golden Age era Manning, Brady, guys like Rivers, Breeze, who came up together. Eli. Rodgers came later, and then Russ came later. Let's not forget, man, Matt Flynn was brought on to be the quarterback in Seattle. Gave him a contract. And then Pete Carroll took one look at Russell Wilson in training camp and said, yeah, you're my guy. And they went to the playoffs that year, his rookie year. Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer. Don't let this ridiculous situation right now in New York, don't let that kind of waver on how you think of Russell Wilson. Russ's a Hall of Famer. I dare you to go back and watch some of those games with the Seahawks. I mean, he did things that only Wilson can do. I know it was bad in Denver. I know it was bad other places. But remember Russ for Seattle. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Number 2.
That brings us directly into our second topic of conversation, the NFL Hall of Fame, because Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, and Phillip Rivers are the newest class of players eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm going to take two of those three names I mentioned, Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald. Who was better at what they did? The better quarterback, Drew Brees, the better receiver, Larry Fitzgerald.
This is tricky because, dare I say it, Fitzgerald is great. Fitzgerald was never at one point the best receiver in the league. He was consistently, in the top 5. Brees is somewhat similar. Brees, outside of maybe 1 year, was never really the best quarterback at the position. Threw a lot of interceptions, threw a lot of passes, was great with passing yards. He had a lot of playoff moments, but they're sort of in a similar category. But I grade greatness, and it's weird because Fitzgerald played for so long and had so many individual stats. Who was greater? Dare I say it's probably Brees.
This is tough because Brees, I don't think, was ever the best quarterback at any time either when he played.
No.
So I'm going to go.
They're in a similar category.
I'm going to go with Fitzgerald because, he's second in receiving touchdowns behind Jerry Rice. God, he played from 2004. Played for a lot of years. I think he was the best receiver once upon a time. But if I had to go who was the best at what he did, I think it's Fitzgerald just because of the amount of great quarterbacks. I call it the golden age, of Brady, Manning. I mean, throw Aaron Rodgers into the mix.
He did it without that.
So I think I got to answer the question, I got to go with Fitzgerald, but I think both are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Let's move on.
Number 3.
Ryder Cup going on. The ceremony is going on as we spoke earlier in the show. Well, I'm going to rewind to yesterday because I'm going to play some audio from the crowd at the Ryder Cup during the practice rounds, and you got to tell me who it is who's leading this chant. Fun little game. Take a listen.
All right, on 3. Loud and clear now. Loud and proud, baby. Here we go. USA! 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 USA!
I gave you about 4 words of one person who said loud and proud now on 3. Who was it who was leading the USA chant?
I think I got it. Is it Ed Orgeron, former LSU head coach?
Colin?
Yeah, I'm only thinking of Orgeron right now, but was it?
You both are correct. It was.
So. Dude, it sounded exact. Go Tigers. I told you my cousin went to LSU.
Yeah, he's there.
A big Coach O guy.
He's just showing up.
Yeah.
He was sitting front row with the plebes. He wasn't beneath the ropes. Yeah. For some reason, Ed Orgeron was there. Do you think all class needs to go out the window at this year's Ryder Cup when it comes to rowdy New York fans trying to give Europe everything they got?
This is about the United States.
But like at the same time, this is what New York fan was born to do.
Yeah.
Am I missing something here? Because like, you know me being from
the last 3 Ryder Cups from Midwest.
I can't stand New York fan. But this is America. We all band together. The New York fan was born for this, man.
I'm fine. I mean, completely in favor. I agree.
They were born to heckle the hell out of these Europeans.
Number 5?
Yeah. Number 5.
I mean, mate.
The other end of that Jackson Dart Russell Wilson situation was Russell Wilson, and what exactly is going to happen to him? Because are you going to let a guy getting paid $10.5 million ride the bench as a veteran presence, or does he get shipped off elsewhere? Russell Wilson spoke to the media today. He had this to say.
You know, I think the other thing I can control is my work ethic and my preparation to be ready when my name's called again, because I know what I can do, and I know, I know I'm going to do it again. So that's what I'm excited about.
Is someone going to trade for Russell Wilson, or is he going to ride the bench for the Giants throughout the rest of 2025?
I think he's there to rot. Now you got to try to be a vet. Do what Justin Fields did with you, loud and proud last year. You got to do the same thing to Jackson Dart.
I think someone will end up trading for him. We already have a plethora. Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields, Brock Purdy, J.J. McCarthy. Got a couple of names that are already hurt. What happens if other guys get hurt? People are going to need Wilson.
888-760-3776, a number to get into the program, numbered to get an opportunity to win a signed copy of Greenie and Hembo's new book. That's Mike Greenberg. Got Your Legends just came out. It ranks all 124 North American sports franchises and puts together their Mount Rushmore. 4 of their most iconic players all throughout their history. They do it for every single franchise: hockey, baseball, football, and basketball. We're going to do the Dolphins. We're bringing in Greenberg on the other side. But first, if you want to win a signed copy, caller number, let's do 3, and caller number 5. What you got to do, guess one of the 4 members of the Miami Dolphins Mount Rushmore. There is 4, and this could be executives, coaches, and players. Who is on the Miami Dolphins Mount Rushmore? Give one guess to Christian Cat in the break, 888-760-3776. If you get that guess right, you get a signed copy of Greenberg and Hembo's new book, Got Your Legends. 888-760-3776. Who's on the Dolphins Mount Rushmore? We'll talk to Mike Greenberg on the other side. It's Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Gators fans, you still have 4 chances to catch Florida football live in the swamp this season. Don't miss the Texas game on October 4th, homecoming against Mississippi State on October 18th, Military Appreciation Day versus Tennessee on November 22nd, and Florida State for Senior Day on November 29th. Visit FloridaGators.com to get your tickets today.
Football season is here, and the ultimate game day headquarters is Twin Peaks. Whether it's college Saturdays or NFL Sundays, catch every kickoff, every touchdown, every Hail Mary right here at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. From scratch-made favorites to ice-cold 29-degree draft beers, Twin Peaks is delivering all the winning plays. Looking for a stronger lineup? No one does game day like Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks, come for the game, stay for the experience.
Baseball's greatest international spectacle returns to Miami. The World Baseball Classic comes to Lone Depot Park in March 2026, bringing the planet's top baseball talent under one roof. Witness MLB superstars represent their countries in this thrilling tournament. Miami kicks off the tournament with a star-studded round one featuring the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and more. Get a Marlins membership to secure exclusive priority access for this sellout event. More information at marlins.com/WBC.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Fall is here, and the flavors of the season are waiting for you at DQ Grill and Chill. Treat yourself to the new Maple Cookie Milkshake. DQ's world-famous soft serve blended with maple cookie crumble and real milk. It's the sweet taste of fall in a cup, but only for a limited time. And don't forget the blizzards of the month, pumpkin pie and caramel toffee cookie. Stop by DQ Grill and Chill today with 2 convenient locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake. Fall tastes better at DQ.
The season is kicking off. Keep your home in the win column with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can score 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong on the field, not in your living room. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8-star rating, EDS is trusted as the MVP, and it has been since 2006. Visit EDSIsyes.com today. Kick off your game day comfort and don't sweat the small stuff.
Racetrack is proud to support our local high school football teams. Whether it's Friday night lights or tailgate parties, Racetrack has whatever gets you going to fuel all the gridiron excitement this fall. Grab your favorite snacks, crispy chips, delicious Nathan's hot dogs, sweet treats, or our house-made pizza slices. Don't forget to quench your thirst with a variety of ice-cold drinks. Racetrack, your one-stop shop to fuel your football Fridays.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We got Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo. We got Christian Cat behind the glass. We're at the City Place Studios over in downtown West Palm Beach. A midweek edition of the program. If you missed any of it today, you want to listen back, Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Got Your Legends, written by Paul Embo and Mike Greenberg, is officially out. The 124 franchises in North American sports. There is a Mount Rushmore for every single one. Mount Rushmore, the 4 most iconic, prolific, biggest figures of that franchise's history. It's all ranked. It's all put together. It's all in the book. A New York Times bestselling author. You see him all the time on ESPN broadcasting, including Get Up in the Mornings, a fixture of sports radio from throughout his career, with Mike and Mike in the Mornings back in the day. We'd like to welcome in Mr. Mike Greenberg now with the program now. Mike, how are we doing today? What's going on?
I am doing great. It is a pleasure to be with you guys. Colin, it's a particular pleasure to get the chance to chat with you. Your dad is on the back of the book. He wrote a very nice blurb for us. He wrote, if anybody knows how to put historical sports debates in book form, it's these two, meaning Hembo and me, I was incredibly honored. Like half the rest of the industry, I grew up sort of idolizing your father and learning from him and stuff like that. So it's a pleasure to get a chance to talk with both of you guys, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think of what we did.
Well, Greeny, I appreciate that. I'll forward that message. I appreciate that. If you listen to him on First Take today, he did about 10 minutes on Dave Pash's travel schedule coming from the Missouri-South Carolina game and having to do the Arizona Cardinal game the next day. It's funny. You should take a listen to that. But Greeny, talk me through this. You've been involved in a lot of books. This is a tricky topic because you got to go through every single franchise and you got to come up with 4. And some are a lot easier than others, and some are a lot more difficult and some have basically no history at all. So you're really digging for it. What sort of kind of came about with this topic between you and Hembo, thinking that this is the cool thing that we wanted to tackle?
So it was Hembo's idea, to be honest with you. The first idea he had was, let's do the Mount Rushmore of every team in sports. All of us who have done sports talk over the years have done a trillion Mount Rushmores, right? You've done the Mount Rushmore of this, that, and the other. So he said, let's do the Mount Rushmore of every team, 124 teams in the 4 major sports, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball. Terrific. So he does, if you know Hembo, and your father certainly does at least a little, he is so good at research, it's ridiculous. I have no idea how he does what he does, but he was able to distill things down to where most of the decisions were actually pretty easy. And we had a few criteria that we agreed on that we would use to break ties, but most of it wasn't actually that hard. So choosing the 4 franchise faces, the legends, which is where we got the title, Got Your Legends from, that wasn't that hard, but it was a fun exercise. And then I sit down and I'm going to write. What I really like the most is sports history. What I like the most about your father is that he has an understanding of an appreciation of sports history and stands up for it all the time. And I use this as my analogy all the time. I listen to sports talk show hosts say things like, well, I don't know a lot about Oscar Robertson. He was before my time. Well, if you don't have any understanding of the history of your subject matter, then how can you put into any perspective what's going on now? That would be like doing a political show and saying, well, look, I don't know much about FDR. He was before my time. So that strikes me as immediately disqualifying. So I like writing about the history. So I was going to write about the history of all of the teams and all of the legends. And we had to figure out, how are we going to organize them? Like, what are we just going to do them by sport? And so I finally said, do you want to take a crack at trying to rank them all from 1 to 124? And so that's what we did. So the book is organized, the best team in sports, all the way to the worst team in sports in terms of championship history, overall winning history, and cultural relevance. And they rank from 1 to 124. And then for every one of them, from the best to the worst, we picked them out Rushmore of every one of the teams. And I write an essay about every one of them, which brings a little bit of an element of sports history to it. So I hope there's something in it for everybody.
Greeny, what was the sport that you think was the easiest one for you to decipher who the best was? Like, was there, between the big 4 you guys did, which one do you think you had the better grasp of kind of knowing who the top 4 in each club were?
What we did was we set up, was a good question, but the answer is not, it's not specific. We set up criteria, what we were going to base once you have the data in front of you, you just have to decide what's important to you. So the science are the numbers, right? There's a science and an art to it. The science is, these are the numbers. This is the winning percentage. This is how many championships they've won. This is how many Hall of Famers they've had, all those sorts of things. Then we had to make up our minds, what are we going to prioritize? And here was the first rule. Championships beat everything. So if you have 2 teams and you take a decade, and one of them finishes last for 9 years, but wins the title in the 10th, and the other one is over 500 all 10 years, but doesn't win, in my opinion, the championship wins. That's a decision. It's an opinion. It's not, obviously, that's not a fact. The data is all, those are numbers. Those are facts. They can't be argued with. The places that we made decisions were what we were going to prioritize. So championships come first. And then the cultural relevance part felt important to me as well. How important is this team to the history of its sport, to the history of American culture at large? Those are things that aren't always quantifiable, but in some cases they're fairly easy. So, and then we put them in tiers because you really can't compare the Montreal Canadiens to the Los Angeles Lakers. So they're in tiers. So the top tier has 4 teams, 1 from each sport. The second tier has 8 teams, 2 from each sport. The third team has 16 teams, 4 from each sport. And so we did put them in an order, but what is more significant to how we ranked your team is what tier they're in more than how they compare to others. So for example, do you have the book in front of you? Otherwise I'll have you guess.
I do.
The first 4, we called them the fabled 4 because we didn't want to use the same names as the NCAA tournament, are 1 from each sport. So The Yankees are number one in baseball and number one overall. We agonized over Celtics Lakers. And again, going back to the criteria, championships trump everything else. While we were doing the book was when the Celtics won their 18th championship, breaking the tie with the Lakers. So the Celtics became the number one basketball team. So they're 2. It's Yankees 1, Celtics 2, Canadiens 3, Green Bay Packers 4. People don't know enough about the Packers' history. They've won 13 NFL championships, which is more than any other franchise. They also have been in their home city longer than any other NFL team. So that's the top 4. And then the Lakers are 5. And by far the hardest thing to do was choosing between the Celtics and the Lakers. Because as we write in the book, the Celtics and Lakers are to the NBA what Ali and Frazier were to boxing at one time, bigger than everybody else combined. And so that was the hardest thing to do, was choosing between those 2.
Mike Greenberg joining us now on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. One team that you included in Tier 5, 62 overall in the 124. Basically, the dead 50% mark of all the franchises in sports was the Miami Dolphins. And you put together 4 there: Don Shula, Brian Greasy, Dan Marino, and Jason Taylor to mix this up.
Let me stop you briefly. What you have just found, and I'm gonna put this out on social media a little later this week. There was one huge mistake in the book. The book is 240 pages. There was one copyright mistake that none of us caught. I have to take the blame for it. Hembo takes the blame for it. Our copy editors take the blame for it, and everybody else did. Read those names again.
Don Shula, Brian Greasy.
Okay, stop right there. Do you think we meant Brian Greasy? So clearly that should have been Bob Greasy. There's no way in the world Brian Greasy is on the Dolphins Mount Rushmore. It is the only mistake that we have found. So I feel sick about it. Hembo called me about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
the book has been printed. It's out. There's literally nothing we can do. And he calls me and he says, Greeny, I was just looking at, we just got our copy sent to us. He said, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah, you got
we
this.
We all missed it. We all missed it. It says Brian Greasy, and there's nothing we can do about it. So my endless apologies to the Greasy family, to Dolphins fans everywhere, and to anyone within the sound of my voice.
If you're going to take sides, you like the son more. It's fine. You like Brian. You thought Brian did a great job in those 10 years, huh?
Clearly, that should be Bob Greasy.
No. Well, no, Greeny, that's, first of all, fascinating that slipped through the cracks through the dozens of people that read through it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's gotta drive you crazy. You can't ever look at the Dolphins ever again. But number one, I'm curious too. I have a couple. I went through basically most of these, and the Jason Taylor selection, I personally disagree with. And I was curious on the decision process behind Shula, Greasy, and Marino. Make a lot of sense. I think those are the 3 locks. I thought somebody like Larry Csonka should have been, you want to talk about championships, I thought somebody like Larry Csonka should have been somebody with a little bit more, I guess, consideration in this position. Talk about Taylor versus, Csonka.
Those teams, I'm old enough to have watched them. The first Super Bowl I actually have a conscious memory of watching was the 14-7 game when they beat Washington, the Garo Yepremian game. So I go back to that era. And those teams are remembered first for the no-name defense, second for Csonka and kick, third for the Hall of Fame quarterback. So I fully recognize that we put the quarterback on the team and didn't put any of the defenders or either of the 2 legendary running backs, of whom Csonka would have been the choice, on the list. But at no point was Larry Csonka, as great a player as he was and as important a piece of that team as he was, and maybe the perfect fit for that team that he was, in that era. If you would ask people then to name the best running backs in the sport, his name would not have come up. He played at the same time as O.J. Simpson and Franco Harris and Chuck Foreman and a number of other running backs who were greater than he was at the time. Jason Taylor, for a period of time there, was the best defensive end in the sport, or certainly on the very short list of the best defensive ends in the sport. I don't have all of the stats in front of me that we used, but when we went over the accolades, his career actually,
he's defensive player of the year.
It aged extremely well. His career, his accomplishments actually age extremely well. And the thing you hold against him is that they didn't do any high level winning. So we look, there are a lot of Dolphins that we considered. Paul Warfield in his time is one of the great wide receivers, but before receivers became what they are, before receivers started putting up numbers that started looking like pinball machines when San Diego kind of changed the sport in the late 70s, and all of a sudden offensive numbers changed in the sport. Warfield in the earlier days was one of the great receivers. You could, a handful of players from the defense, from Nick Bonacani and those teams. Zonka would have been, I think, the next choice. And then Dwight Stevenson, who is one of the great offensive linemen of his era. My old radio partner, Mike Golick, used to tell me how he was an unbelievable player and how everyone recognized how great he was at his time. That was a tough choice. And I don't have all of the numbers in front of me. I wish I did. But as we looked it over closely, and that's the beauty of the book, I want to have these discussions and debates. In eyelash, we went Jason Taylor.
Greeny, in your eyes, is Don Shula the best coach in football? You know, he's got. I'm a Northeast Ohio guy myself. You know, went to John Carroll. Do you see Shula as the best coach of all time in the National Football League?
Well, I am a person who separates best and greatest. So his accomplishments. He won more games than anybody else did. He was the coach of several of the greatest teams of all time, including the only undefeated Super Bowl champion ever, and those Colts teams, which frankly were probably better. And I think if Shula was not on the wrong side of the most famous and significant, historically significant upset ever, his career would have aged a little differently. So Shula, the things that work against him are he lost that game. He lost the Super Bowl as an 18-point favorite, and as obviously before he got to Miami. And then the back end of his career, while there was a lot of winning, there was no high-end winning. He had Dan Marino as his quarterback for whatever period of time, however many years they were together. It had to be at least a decade. Again, I don't have it all my research in front of me, and they never won anything. Those things work against him if we're splitting hairs. So Don Shula, I think, is on the Mount Rushmore of coaches. I think if we're looking at the history of the great coaches in the sport, Lombardi has to be on it. Belichick has to be on it. And then you start debating. I would love to have this conversation, Colin, with your father and whoever else wants to get involved in it. Who take the other two spots? Shula is a very, very worthy contender for those. I would argue Bill Walsh.
Yeah, Walsh, I was going to say.
Innovative he was, not only how great his teams were, but teams in the NFL are still running his offense. I mean, teams in the National Football League are running variations on an offense that he created 4 decades ago, at this point, almost 5 decades ago. So I think Walsh would be in the discussion. Shula would definitely be in the conversation. If you ask me to name the greatest coaches in NFL history, I think I would put Lombardi and Belichick ahead of him, but he would be right there.
Since we're on the topic, Paul Brown, Greeny, interested in that as well.
He's got to be there too. He's on the Browns list. The Browns,
the Bengals as well.
The Browns are a great example of one of the reasons I'm proud of this book. Like, Colin, when JJ Redick got on your dad and saying the thing about Bob Cousy and everything, that pissed me off so much. I like JJ, but greatness in sports can only be judged relative to the era in which people existed. So
1,000%.
The idea that Bob Cousy, if he had been born 50 years later and was able to avail himself of the same nutrition and training and everything else that everyone was doing, and sports were as high-end a business as they have become, so you didn't have to worry about other things and stuff, he would have been just as great in any era. You can only judge athletes relative to the era in which they play. Yep. The Cleveland Browns are one of the historically great franchises in pro football history. Fans who are under the age of 40 think the Browns are a laughingstock. The Browns of Otto Graham and then Jim Brown were a dominant franchise in pro football. So Paul Brown is on their list and he's on the Bengals list. But the point I'm making is Brown also, his coordinators were Vince Lombardi and Tom Landry. So, I mean, his coaching tree is one of the most significant coaching trees, if not the best. How much better than that are you going to do? Landry is another one that I would have in consideration, by the way, for the greatest coaches of all time. So Paul Brown is an historically incredibly important figure in football history, and definitely, I don't think he would make the coaching Mount Rushmore, but he'd be someone that you'd have to talk about.
Now, one of the only coaches to do college and Super Bowl, but I understand the point, Greeny.
Now, Greeny, I went through this, and you have, luckily, it's all right, ranked, and so you can see all 4 of them, basically the whole thing. I have a couple that I'd like to throw at you, and more than a couple. I have about 15, but I don't think we have time for 15. I have a couple.
I have as much time as you have, so whatever you want.
Great. We'll keep you here until 6 if we have the opportunity to, but I'm kidding.
Go ahead.
76ers. All right. Dolph Schayes, Julius Erving, Allen Iverson, Joel Embiid. There's an elephant in the room. Why is Joel Embiid on this list?
So tell me who you put there instead of him.
Moses Malone.
Joel Embiid was an MVP. Okay. Moses Malone, his greatest years by far were in Houston. Moses
Malone, but he won an MVP and a Finals MVP. Keep that in mind. And he was on the best team in the franchise's history in '83.
They were, not only were they the best team in the franchise's history, but I would contend that for any one individual season, and I covered the 96 Bulls who won 72 games, that for any one individual season, the most dominant team I ever saw were the 83 76ers. They swept the Knicks as part of that faux. I'm a New Yorker like you are. I grew up with Knicks season tickets. I was at those games in New York. The Knicks played them tough in Game 3, and Andrew Toney hit a shot at the very end that won Game 3, and it was 3-0, and they wound up sweeping the Knicks on their way to what turned out to be faux 5-4. They didn't sweep Milwaukee. But Moses, I think Embiid also won an MVP. He's been there. He was on the Sixers a lot longer than Moses was.
Hold on. He has not played in a big game for them. I don't want to cut you off, but come on. He hasn't even made the conference finals. If we're talking about the championship, shouldn't that 1 year? You have a number of people on the list, including the Steelers, which we'll get to. You have where if they're a part of like a big part of that franchise's history, a big team, you favored that team, that 83 Sixer team, other than the Syracuse National, all those teams, that is the team for the Sixers, which is why, and Moses was the best player on that team. So that's why I was curious in your perspective here.
He was. Now, I remember him saying it's Doc's team, but he was saying that out of deference to Julius Erving. Moses Malone was the best player on that team. So I've got to be honest with you. You make a very good point. I think I relied a lot on Hembo for this one because he is from Philadelphia, and we went to a lot. And I think he may have talked me into this one. So you guys got to call him and yell at him because I think he may have. This is one where you may have me.
All right. How about this? You said you did a lot of coverage with the Bulls. Let's jump to it. But you mentioned the Knicks. Marv Albert is on the Knicks list.
Yes,
I know we love Marv
to death.
Come on, like they're the Ewing, Willis Reed. I absolutely Walt Frazier, no contest. That fourth one is tricky. You could go in a couple different directions. You could go from the 70s teams. You could go from later days. You put Marv Albert. This is a historic franchise. You're going to put Marv Albert here?
It is a historic, let's face it, it is a historically terrible franchise. The New York Knicks, who played in the very first ever NBA game, have won 2 championships. They had, we could have, so from those teams, Monroe was on one of the title teams, not both. Bradley, DeBusschere, greats. We considered Red Holtzman, whom I loved, but the high level winning. Carmelo Anthony never won anything of consequence in a Knick uniform. My favorite player as a kid was Bernard King. His peak was as good as anybody's. Marv Albert was the voice of the New York Knicks from 1967 to 2004. I believe that Marv Albert had a relationship with the fans of the New York Knicks that is deeper and more meaningful than that of any of the players that we otherwise could have placed there. Monroe would have been the closest to it, I think, because he has remained so beloved and remains connected distantly to the franchise. Clyde was a no-brainer. But the Marv Albert one, I will fight to the death. There are a very few broadcasters that we put on this list. Bob Uecker is on the Brewers list. Vin Scully is on the Dodgers list. Marv, and there may be one or two more. I'm not doing it off the top of my head. But the Marv one, Marv Albert, if you grew up in New York at any time when he was doing their games, then for the rest of your life, the game of basketball will sound like Marv Albert's voice. To this day, when I'm watching a basketball game, I'm in my mind hearing Marv Albert's voice. And I believe I speak for everyone who grew up in New York while he was the voice of the Knicks. That one I will defend to the death. I certainly understand the argument that could be made. The players who you would consider there, I guess, would be Bradley, Monroe.
DeBusschere is the one I was looking at. He was the best defensive player on that team, and you mentioned a franchise that has done a whole lot of nothing.
Right.
And you got of that championship team, if you were to pluck another one, it would be probably from that era.
Half the list is from that team, and then Ewing, who is the greatest player in the history of the franchise, and his relationship with the fan base is complicated. Let me quickly go to that. I'll read you what I wrote about Marv. You
and what I'm curious because while you said that, Ken Harrelson was another one that you put on there for a broadcaster.
Hawk Harrelson, yes. So I lived and worked in Chicago and covered sports in Chicago for 11 years. And Hawk Harrelson was an incredibly important part of a White Sox organization that has not had a whole lot of high-level success. Where the hell are the Knicks in here? Hold on a second. What number?
Listen, Marv, I agree. I didn't grow up with it, but I would just say if you're going to highlight a team, the 70s Knicks, and you could make it, if the Knicks do something with Brunson, he is right there instead of Marv. But I just sit here and I say I would pluck another one from that 70s teams, and I understand Bernard King probably wasn't there long enough, but DeBusschere was the one I was looking at. And listen, there's no right answer, but that was the one I wanted to bring up with you. I have a number of other ones, but what did you say about Marv Albert?
I wrote what I said here. Marv Albert was the voice. So I mentioned that the phrase, when I write about Willis Reed, I say the phrase, "Here comes Willis," is among the most famous collection of words in New York sports history. And then I wrote, the man who spoke those words deserves his space here as well. Marv Albert was the voice of the Knicks from 1967 through 2004. His call synonymous with all the highs and lows of generations of fans. Albert, of course, also broadcast games nationally on blah, blah, blah. But his connection to the fans in his hometown as the announcer for both the Knicks and the NHL's Rangers was as deep as any broadcasters in America. That one I will defend. What's the next?
Now, Greeny, I told you I'm a Northeast Ohio kid. The Steelers terrorized me growing up. You don't have the boogeyman on there.
You got Chuck Noll, Joe Green, Bradshaw Harris. That's all from one era.
Correct. Yeah. That's my gripe. But also, you don't have the boogeyman on there, and that's Ben
Roethlisberger.
The guy who could eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, hold 3 defenders off him, and throw a 60-yard touchdown. 2-time Super Bowl winner, too. I probably, and you're probably going to get on me for this, I take off Franco Harris. I understand maybe, I know you hate this, but a little bit before my time, but I mean, geez, Ben Roethlisberger, 2 Super Bowls, and really carried that team for 2 blessed decades. He's got to be on there, Greeny.
Franco Harris won 4 Super Bowls, but here's the thing:
the defense, and
it's one era. It's talking about your balancing era. You can make an argument if the Steelers were like the Knicks, and there's only the 70s, but the Steelers also have the 2000s, and you got to give at least some credibility to that. And there was no representation there. That's the one.
And 05, sorry, boys, one more thing. When Roethlisberger came in, they started winning. They had touchdown Tommy Maddox. They weren't able to do it.
Immediately
Cowher got Ben Roethlisberger and finally won the trophy. And then the famous saying is Mike Tomlin won with Cowher's team with Ben Roethlisberger. So I'm interested to hear the rebuttal here.
So here's what I would say. Historical significance and relevance are one of the things we took into account. Pro football is what it is today because of the Steelers and the Cowboys in the 70s. That is a fact. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys in the 70s, if WWE, which can script whatever it wants, had created a perfect rivalry to elevate a sport from what it was at the beginning of that decade, which was a secondary sport in America, maybe one on an ascent, but definitively less popular than baseball and less important than baseball, to what it was at the end of that decade, which was the most important sport, the most popular sport, a culture, a bordering on religious connection to the fans of this country. That was created by the rivalry of the blue-collar Pittsburgh Steelers, who represented that city perfectly, and the glamorous Hollywood-esque Dallas Cowboys with the star on their helmet, with their quarterback from the Navy with his crew cut, and their coach wearing a fedora, and their cheerleaders on the sidelines. That changed pro football forever. Pro football, in the same way that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird changed basketball. You can basically look at basketball as being divided up into the time before them and the time after them. I would say you can look at pro football the same way. Before the Cowboys and Steelers of the 70s and after. And that team was so important that I feel it deserved all of the spots. As far as Franco Harris is concerned, Franco Harris made the most famous play in football history. Number one, every single list you see, you got David Tyree's helmet catch, and you've got Santonio Holmes in the corner of the end zone, and you've got whatever else you want, that Mike Jones making a tackle on the 1 yard line to win a game, a Super Bowl, and what was the guy? Malcolm Butler intercepting Russell Wilson.
Dwight Clark.
All of those plays, Dwight Clark, the catch, everything else. The Immaculate Reception is the greatest, most important, and most famous play in pro football history. That counts for something. If you fly into Pittsburgh to this day, that play took place in 1972. This is 53 years later. When you land in Pittsburgh and you get off your plane, there is a statue, not in front of the stadium, in the freaking airport, of Franco Harris leaning down to catch that ball. That means something. That matters for something. So to me, Franco had to be there. The argument for me was between Bradshaw and Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Because those teams were defined first and foremost by defense, which is Joe Green. Joe Green, who was on one of the 5 greatest defensive players of all time. The 5 greatest defensive players of all time.
There's no issue there.
Agreed. Yeah.
I agree.
He's
no
on
issue
it.
there.
He's on it, Greeny. He was the face of the steel curtain. He's on
Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor. Joe Green is right there. Dick Buck is right there with any of them. I felt Noel had to be there. For the longest time, he was the only coach with 4 Super Bowl championships because Walsh didn't win a 4th one. So until Belichick, Noel was alone in that. And that's a long time. I mean, to have been the only guy to win 4 Super Bowls over the first 40 years, or whatever it was, closer to maybe 50 years, well, 40-something years anyway. So Noel, I felt, had to be there. Green had to be there. Franco, because of the Immaculate Reception, Franco was ahead of Bradshaw. I don't know what
I can even listen to that. Yeah.
In the book. We did not purposely put them in an order. They're not intent. There's no like Washington and then Lincoln and then like the 4 are the 4. They're equally weighted. So Bradshaw's name, I don't know if they did it, if they wound up doing it alphabetically or how I don't know how they chose the order in which they put them. But
random, it looks like.
Yep. I think it is random. Bradshaw was not ahead. Bradshaw is 4th, was our 4th choice. And we strongly considered Roethlisberger for that spot. But in the end, 4 Super Bowls just trumped 2 Super Bowls. Like the entire list of quarterbacks in NFL history to have won 4 Super Bowls is Brady, Montana, and Bradshaw. And that just means something. So that was a tough one, Mike. And I'm not telling you that you're wrong, but
no, totally. I just look at the eras, Greeny, like Roethlisberger, like he brought the Steelers back, right? And forgive me, 05 was the first Super Bowl since
So they got there in the 90s, the Neil Donaldson game where they lost against the Cowboys.
But that was like that was the birth of the new age of the Steelers. So that's the only reason I was kind of nitpicking you on that.
For the first 50% of their existence, they were awful. The Pittsburgh Steelers were the worst franchise in the sport. They're a founding franchise, or practically, of the NFL history. Up until Noel got there, they were terrible. And then they got Joe Green, and then they had the greatest draft in the history of the sport, and then they ran the sport for a decade. So I understand the argument, but I feel that and I did the same thing with the Bulls, by the way. I felt
you sure did.
I did the same thing with the Bulls. All of the Bulls that we chose are from that run in the 90s. Even though Derrick Rose was obviously a great player, even though Jerry Sloan was a terrific player for them, Bob Love was a terrific player.
Artis Gilmore.
They had other great players. Gilmore was a very good player. But, I mean, Michael and Scotty went without saying.
Yep.
Phil Jackson, I thought, went without saying.
Agreed.
Yeah, but you could get rid of Krause and put in Rose. You could get that was on my list. I wanted to get
Greeny. We're gonna give that iPad, Greeny. We're gonna give that iPad that you saw in The Last Dance to Michael Jordan.
He
and
burned
he's
that
gonna
team
see
ground in '98.
He's gonna see Jerry Krause on that iPad, and one Michael Jordan wouldn't be too happy, I feel like. But I understand he was the artist of the team. I mean, you go back to when they had a Tony Kukoc, when Michael D'd the hell out of him in the Olympics. Like, I understand why he's there, but I guess, like, Greeny, I got this thing stuck in my mind where you need eras. Like, did the Bulls run into LeBron James in the Eastern Conference? Sure, but if they didn't, they probably win a couple of those years. So I'm interested to hear that as well.
The Bulls, to me, are where they are. The Bulls are ranked very high among the basketball franchises. So if you look at
12. 12 overall.
12, which puts them on tier 2, which means they're the number 3 ranked basketball franchise. We put them after the Celtics and the Lakers. So they are that for only one reason, because the rest of their history is very forgettable. Like the San Antonio, they're ahead of the Spurs, even though the Spurs have only one less championship. And the Spurs, since the merger, the Spurs have the second highest winning percentage in the NBA, sandwiched between the Lakers and the Celtics. And they have an unbelievable Mount Rushmore with Robinson and Duncan and Popovich. But the Bulls are there only because they were the Beatles. I was there. I covered those teams. I traveled with them. That I was not around. I obviously did not travel with the Beatles, but I can only imagine that must have been what it was like.
We're not going to. Yeah, go continue. I'm sorry.
Jerry Krause traded Will Perdue straight up for Dennis Rodman. Jerry Krause acquired on one draft night Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant. Jerry Krause kept a revolving door of role players around those guys. He got Ron Harper from Cleveland. He got Trent Tucker. He didn't bring Paxson there, but he brought Steve Kerr there. He acquired all of those guys. He also plucked Phil Jackson, who was coaching for the Albany Patroons in the CBA, and everyone in the NBA thought he was too weird and too out there to be an NBA coach. And he single-handedly brought him there and recognized how great he was and fired a very successful Doug Collins to give Phil Jackson that job. Jerry Krause did all of those things, and they didn't put him in the Hall of Fame until he was dead. And that's because he was a cantankerous and somewhat disheveled man. I was around him all the time. He wasn't friendly. He wasn't easy to be around, and he was sort of an easy target. And because they did not, and a lot of this really was based on ownership, and Krause took a lot of the heat for it. They wouldn't redo Scottie Pippen's contract, and Pippen got enraged about it, and all the players got mad about it, and they blamed that on Krause when it really had a lot more to do with ownership than anything else. They didn't put Jerry Krause, the architect of 6 championships, in the Hall of Fame until he was dead. And then when they celebrated those teams, the fans booed his widow. It was an outrage. It was a disgrace. It was the most ashamed I've ever been of any fan base in my life to see what happened there. So maybe part of that was my own bias, but I think Jerry Krause is ill-remembered. Jerry Krause did his job. He was not an easy person to be around. I wasn't friendly with him. He was, I don't know that he was friendly with almost anybody who was around at that time. He was cantankerous and a little bit nasty, but he was brilliant. He was unbelievably good at his job. Go find me another basketball architect, or however you want to describe that job, aside from Red Auerbach, whoever did more. I'm not sure you can do it. Maybe Jerry West. I think he's right there with those guys.
Greeny, we could do this quite literally all day. I appreciate the time. I appreciate you going in depth with us. It really was a true treat to have you on. Appreciated it. And, the other teams, that just you don't have to respond to any of them because we don't have the time. Chiefs, I wanted to hear about Andy Reid. I wanted to hear about Michael Jordan with the Hornets. I wanted to hear about the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow instead of Esiason or Ken Anderson. I had a lot on the list, but the book is awesome. This is why you do it. This is why you have these types of discussions. This is why you write this thing, and we look forward to really breaking it down soon again. I appreciate it, Greeny. We'll talk soon, all right?
Thanks, Greeny. I'll just say two quick things. One, this is the best interview that I've done. I've done 2 days worth of basically nonstop. This was the best interview that I've done. And you guys are obviously both young guys just getting started. So I take it from an old guy. You're doing great because this was the best interview I've done. Secondly, very quickly for anyone listening, Amazon is doing a special offer for the listeners during my radio tour. So as I'm doing all of these radio shows, if you order from Amazon right now, the book Got Your Legends, I'm the author, Mike Greenberg, you will get it at a special discounted price. So I wanted to mention that for anyone who is interested. Thank you very much, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Greeny. That means the world. I appreciate it. All right, take care.
Take care, guys.
Mike Greenberg, host of Get Up, ESPN, longtime ESPN radio. You can hear him all there. You can also get his book today, Got Your Legends, as you can see there. Appreciate it as always. We got to get to break. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they've got you covered.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Gators fans, you still have 4 chances to catch Florida football live in the swamp this season. Don't miss the Texas game on October 4th, homecoming against Mississippi State on October 18th, Military Appreciation Day versus Tennessee on November 22nd, and Florida State for Senior Day on November 29th. Visit FloridaGators.com to get your tickets today.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit SignoramawPB.com.
Tina, I've been looking everywhere for you.
Hey, Colin, what's up?
How's the gym?
It's been great. I'm seeing results. My sports-certified Vitacost products have made a world of difference.
Oh, same. Isn't it great? Vitacost is basically the reason I've been able to keep up with Ironman training. Everything you need is in one place for my BCAAs, protein, and electrolytes. Best part, it's all clean and free of banned substances.
Go re-up on your supplements today. Visit Vitacost.com and use code ESPN20 for 20% off. Level up your game with Vitacost.
Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Touchdown!
Racetrack is proud to support our local high school football teams. Whether it's Friday night lights or tailgate parties, Racetrack has whatever gets you going to fuel all the gridiron excitement this fall. Grab your favorite snacks, crispy chips, delicious Nathan's hot dogs, sweet treats, or our house-made pizza slices. Don't forget to quench your thirst with a variety of ice-cold drinks. Racetrack, your one-stop shop to fuel your football Fridays.
Baseball's greatest international spectacle returns to Miami. The World Baseball Classic comes to Lone Depot Park in March 2026, bringing the planet's top baseball talent under one roof. Witness MLB superstars represent their countries in this thrilling tournament. Miami kicks off the tournament with a star-studded round one featuring the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, and more. Get a Marlins membership to secure exclusive priority access for this sellout event. More information at marlins.com/WBC.
Don't fumble your finances. Whether you're running a business or running plays, Jay Zolo and Associates keeps your books tight in your stressed life. With nearly 30 years of experience, Jay Zolo is your go-to coach for QuickBooks, offering expert consulting, one-on-one training, and full-service bookkeeping. Jay Zolo and Associates, simplifying your books so you can win on and off the field. Visit jzolo.com today. That's JZOLLO.com.
Hey everybody, it's Cade Chumsland. Every week, Land Rover Palm Beach supports local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community by naming a Player of the Week. This year, $35,000 will be awarded to student athletes and their schools. Tune in to ESPN West Palm High School Game Day every Friday night as I unveil this week's featured athlete. If you have a great performance that I need to know about, DM us at ESPN West Palm. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt Max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Big thanks to Greeny, Mike Greenberg, for joining us previously, previewing his new book, Got Your Legends. It is out, ranks the top 124 Mount Rushmores in professional sports throughout the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL franchises. We appreciate the time. There's a great interview. Miss any of that, go listen Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search up Russo and Rizzo, or go watch back on ESPN West Palm. Well, you got a lot to look forward to this weekend. Ryder Cup action. MLB is kicking things off tonight with really the last 5 or so games of the year, getting down into the ditches of it. And then you also got college football in the NFL this weekend. A lot to look forward to and a lot to bet on Hard Rock Bet.
Ton of fun stuff, Kyle. I'm already putting together my parlays for Sunday on that NFL slate. I'm already putting together my Saturday college football parlays. How about that 7:30 slate? You got the Georgia and Alabama game, Georgia hosting Bama, and then you have the whiteout game, baby, Penn State, Beaver Stadium, hosting the Oregon Ducks. I'm getting, no pun intended, my ducks in a row with my good friends at Hard Rock Bet. And did I mention college football? Because college football is at its best when you're a part of the action. Sign up today with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet and bet $5 on any game. If it wins, you also score $150 in bonus bets. So put that money where your mouth is, man. $5 for $150. Are you kidding me? Put it on your most confident pick with Hard Rock Bet. And if you're looking for an edge on your next bet, find crazy trends and stats on Hard Rock Bet with the Stats Hub. You can find the hottest streaks, the latest line moves, and more. That is our good friends with Hard Rock Bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Appreciate Mike Greenberg giving us the time. We caught him on the 76ers.
We did, and
that was not his decision.
No, it wasn't. But like, my thing is,
he just threw Hembo under the bus. Yeah, that was Hembo. He's a Philly guy.
I'm fine, but like at the same time, Hembo being a Philly guy, don't those people? I say those people. Don't they hate Joel Embiid?
Yeah.
Like don't
you guys want him out of town?
Yeah. Like you try like. And did they have beef? Remember what Joel Embiid said in those press conferences about Philly fan? I don't know. Very odd that Philly guy Hembo would put Embiid on that list and not Moses Malone. Best player on that championship team. Colin, they won the championship because of Moses Malone, the way he played in the finals. So, and then I'm sorry, the Ben Roethlisberger thing, I had to throw that out. Boys, you know who I root for, man. That guy was the boogeyman. He was everything you wanted at the quarterback position. It is another fan of the team in the AFC North. I even argue a Raven fan.
I can understand, and he was right in terms of his explanation of Franco Harris. Franco Harris was the most important aspect of that team. That was a rushing attack team with a great defense. You get somebody from the defense. You get somebody, Franco Harris. If you take somebody out, you take out Bradshaw.
Is Franco Harris even top 15 running back of all time?
But he's the most.
It's my fight back.
He was a great postseason player. That was the problem with it. That's true though. But like he was you're talking about the quarterback there. If you want to put two quarterbacks on there, I understand that. But if you're trying to balance it, you need to put Joe Green on there because of defensive presence. You need to put the head coach on there.
Now, I understand Greeny's explanation of the most pulverized, the most known play, very, like a huge play that's happened in the history of the sport.
And he said it ignited the NBA a la Celtics, Lakers, Cowboys, Steelers.
I go back.
NFL.
I go back to how important the quarterback position is in the NFL. Like Bradshaw was the guy calling the shots for those teams way back when, but Roethlisberger was the Roethlisberger brought the Steelers back to relevance.
You can't win two titles and there's nothing there.
Correct, with two different coaches, too. Yeah. I understand people say that's Cowher's team, but it worked with Tomlin and it worked with Cowher.
And there's something about winning in Brady's era. That is going to pay its dividends. Once Hall of Fame voting comes out, you're always going to look back and say, well, he stole one when Brady was at his height, at his height.
Yeah.
Which is why Eli Manning will get into the Hall of Fame. That period is because he stole one in the era in which Brady was dominating. So there's something to that as well. Jerry Krause, the one thing about Jerry Krause, he sold me a little bit.
I think he did too. You took the words right from me.
He sold me a little bit.
There's no better.
Jerry Krause has such a bad PR because of The Last Dance.
Correct. And now I feel bad by telling Greeny, we're going to have Jordan look at the iPad style. But like, Colin, who's a better GM than Jerry Krause in the National Basketball Association?
Right. Yeah,
like Bob Myers comes to mind, but
right.
like
Myers has come up. Absolutely.
But you
Pat
can't
Riley is an executive, yeah.
Okay. But like 6 championships and the moves that Greeny said that he made.
Because he flipped the
Ron
team.
Harper.
First three-peat to the second three-peat. Right. It's a different team.
And I even go back to I brought up the Tony Kukoc thing.
Yep.
The players didn't want him. They bullied him in the Olympics. And then he comes on and is a huge part of the championship team.
Yeah, he's a huge part of the in-betweeners, too, when they were playing the Knicks. When Scottie Pippen was taking himself out of the game, that's when Kukoc was stepping up in the years they didn't have Jordan.
Correct.
Go get Vitacost today because Vitacost is your spot if you're looking to take your fitness to the next level. Fitness conscious, just trying to be a little more healthier. If you're training for something, the nutrition and the supplementation is really 80% of the work. You got to make sure that you're on top of things, and Vitacost Sports Certified Marketplace is your place to understand this clean supplementation and nutrition. They got 400 plus clean products on the Sports Certified Marketplace, and you could go vitacost.com/sport-certified today to make that purchase, because for somebody like me who's just coming off the Ironman training, I don't know where I would have been. I probably would have been DNF, do not finish, if I did not have my supplements with Vitacost throughout my training. Go check it out today. Vitacost.com/sport-certified to make your purchase today. ESPN 20 for 20% off. ESPN 20 for 20% off. Well, Greeny took up most of the second hour, but for good reason. Appreciate him giving us the time. That's Mike Rizzo. Big thanks to Christian Cat keeping us up over the air. We'll be back at it tomorrow, live from the park, having a good time there on the road. Stick around for that because that'll be 4 to 6 p.m. As always, this has been Colin Russo saying so long. We'll see you next time. If you missed any of the show, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, just search up Russo and Rizzo. And check us out on socials, ESPN, West Palm, all those great spots. Colin Russo, so long. Enjoy your Wednesday. Enjoy some baseball. Back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 106.3.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they